Welcome to This Explainer. If you've ever actually tried navigating local commerce, you already know that finding a truly secure, centralized digital space to buy and sell stuff can be, well, incredibly tricky. For the longest time, we've had to rely on word of mouth, scattered social media posts, or those physical bulletin boards pinned up outside local shops. Think about how frustrating that traditional method can actually be. You're constantly dealing with outdated info, like calling a number only to find out the item was sold 3 weeks ago. There's a real lack of simple searchability, meaning you literally have to scroll through endless, unorganized feeds just hoping to stumble upon what you need. And then there's the very real risk of scams when you don't have a centralized authority verifying who is posting what. It's just a highly fragmented experience. But what if you could take the absolute best parts of local commerce and streamline all of it into one trusted, incredibly easy-to-use digital hub right here in Rwanda? Well, that is exactly what we're exploring today. I want you to imagine a very specific, but actually very common scenario. Let's say your life is shifting gears, and suddenly you need to buy a car, rent a new house, and find a new job. And because life moves fast, you want to get a head start and do all of that in a single afternoon. If you're relying on those traditional, unverified, and scattered local markets we just talked about, you would literally be running all over town. You'd be calling a dozen different brokers, trying to coordinate meetups in 3 different neighborhoods, sifting through conflicting information, and frankly, just crossing your fingers that the people you're dealing with are actually legitimate. It's exhausting, right? It's wildly inefficient. It takes what should be an exciting step forward and turns it into a total, stressful logistical nightmare. And that is exactly the friction that brings us to our focus for today's explainer. Enter ikaramu-mumbarutso. Translated, this means Rwanda's trusted market. Now, I really want to emphasize something super important here. This isn't some faceless international conglomerate trying to haphazardly adapt a global template to fit the local culture. No way. This is a purely homegrown digital marketplace. It's built from the ground up, based right in Kigali, and designed explicitly to solve the unique everyday friction of local commerce in this specific community. It completely understands the nuances of how people here trade, negotiate, and connect. What this platform essentially does is take the incredibly vibrant, dynamic energy of a physical Rwandan market and seamlessly puts it directly onto the screen right in front of you. All right, let's jump right into section 1, the storefront. Before we start browsing the virtual shelves, we really need to understand the ethos driving this whole platform. When you arrive, the site greets you with a very bold, very intentional Kinyarwanda tagline, Inzozi zawe mubiganza vyawe, which beautifully translates to your dreams in your hands. I love that. It's such a crucial, powerful framing. This digital marketplace is positioning itself as far more than just a place to swipe a credit card. It's operating as a fundamental tool for local empowerment. It's basically telling the user that the control of buying, selling, scaling a small business, or simply advancing your day-to-day life is being placed entirely and safely directly into your own hands. Okay, let's dive into this. A slogan is great, but how does the platform actually build and maintain that essential trust? They do it by highlighting 3 core guarantees right up front. First, abakuribi bemejwe, verified sellers. You aren't just dealing with completely anonymous profiles hidden behind random avatars, there is a real layer of accountability. Second is umutekana wamakuru, data security. This is absolutely crucial when you're modernizing traditional local commerce. Moving from hand-to-hand cash transactions to a digital ecosystem means users are suddenly entrusting a platform with their phone numbers, their locations, and their habits. Ensuring that personal info is completely walled off and protected is the absolute bedrock of keeping users comfortable. And third, Igakorve Chwanda, proudly stating that this is Rwanda's own creation, ensuring the wealth and utility generated stays right within the community. These 3 pillars, working together, are what make this platform uniquely safe and deeply connected to its users. Moving right along to section 2, exploring the aisles. With that crucial trust established, let's transition into the marketplace itself to see exactly what kind of scale we're talking about here. If this were a physical building, the directory at the front entrance would be massive. Looking at this directory is key because it shows us exactly how comprehensive this ecosystem is. You've got your standard isoko, or market for typical physical goods, but it goes so much further than that. You also have gukodesha for rentals, akazi for jobs, amashuri for schools and educational resources, and kwamamaza for advertising your own services. Ikaramu-mumbarutso is absolutely not just some basic e-commerce site for retail goods. It is a full-fledged, comprehensive directory for navigating almost every single aspect of daily life and business in Rwanda.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer contrast in what people are comfortably trading on this platform. On one hand, you have incredibly high-ticket premium items like Imotokizigarishwa, cars on sale for 20 million Rwandan francs. You are dealing with massive life purchases. And then, right down the digital aisle, catering to a completely different need, you can buy a braided t-shirt for 80,000 or pick up an Engaria Sports, a sports bike for just 60,000 RWF to commute around town. The fact that an ecosystem can seamlessly host a 20 million franc car sale right next to a 60,000 franc sports bike proves something very important. It proves the platform has successfully attracted both casual, everyday buyers looking for a quick deal and serious, high-value investors looking for major assets. It is a true cross-section of the entire local economy.
We also see this incredibly wide, inclusive spectrum when it comes to real estate and housing. Let's zoom in on a specific, recognizable area like Tubrimja. A user can jump onto the platform and find a beautifully localized rental house in the highly desirable Siaman area for 60,000 RWF. Or, if they need something else, they can find a much more budget-friendly, accessible option right near the Saiwar Moss Market for just 15,000 RWF. By providing such highly specific, hyper-localized listings that span across all potential price points, the platform is ensuring it serves the absolute entirety of the community. It isn't just catering to the wealthy, and it isn't just a bargain bin. It's a true, leveled playing field for anyone looking to secure their next home. And that brings us to Section 3, the handshake. So you've found the perfect sports bike to get around the city, or maybe you've just found that ideal, budget-friendly rental house in Tumba. The big question is, how do you actually close the deal? Well, it all comes down to a beautifully frictionless three-step process, and this brilliantly illustrates why this platform is gaining so much traction so quickly. They break down how it works into an incredibly simple flow. Step 1, register, which they confidently promise takes just 1 single minute of your time. Step 2, search for the items you want or publish your own goods to the community. And Step 3 is where the real magic of this platform happens. Meet on WhatsApp. Notice what is conspicuously missing from those steps. There is no clunky e-commerce checkout page that asks for 14 different billing details. There is no complex digital wallet you have to set up, load up with funds, and verify before you can even talk to someone. Nope. The final instruction is simply Vugana numuge muzi, changwan yurin zu. Speak directly with the seller or the landlord. By intentionally bypassing those traditional, high-friction shopping carts, the platform manages to keep the technology incredibly human. It doesn't force a rigid Western e-commerce model onto the user. Instead, it perfectly mimics the natural, trusted flow of a real-world Rwandan market, where a real conversation, a bit of negotiation, and a personal connection always precedes a transaction. In fact, the platform itself leans heavily on this exact same highly familiar communication style for its own customer support. They boldly list their direct WhatsApp contact right there on the site for everyone to see. Think about how rare that is today. In a world full of frustrating automated AI chatbots that just run you in circles, or those hidden Contact Us pages that send your emails into a bottomless void, having a direct, immediate line via WhatsApp is a massive, surprising feature for user trust. If you have an issue or need to verify something about the platform's credibility or privacy policies, you are literally sending a text message to a familiar interface and talking to a real, live human being on the other end. And to make this digital handshake even faster, they heavily push users toward a dedicated mobile experience. Share app kuri telefoni. Install our app directly to your phone. This is an absolute game changer for convenience. By moving the marketplace out of a clunky mobile web browser and nesting it directly onto the home screen of your smartphone, ikaramu-mumbarutso transforms from an occasional website you visit into an always-on, integrated part of your daily routine. It turns occasional web searching into a constant, daily connection to your community market. It's right there, ready to be tapped the exact second you need to find a specialized service, a new home, or an eager buyer for something you're trying to sell. What we're seeing here is a truly fascinating, deeply localized adaptation of e-commerce. It takes the sprawling, wonderfully vibrant, but sometimes chaotic nature of local commerce and carefully organizes it into a verified, highly searchable digital storefront. And most importantly, it does all of this while fiercely preserving that essential, deeply human connection through WhatsApp. It solves the massive problem of the scattered local market without ever losing the local touch. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this thought to consider. Instead of spending your valuable days chasing down outdated leads all across town, is your next big purchase or your perfect rental house really just a single WhatsApp message away?